Thanks for having me on again, Sheila. There's been, we haven't done anything together for a while, but we've been both pretty busy. There's a lot of stuff going on in the gun world right now. The big thing right now is Bill C-71. As most people know, it all started with the first reading of C-71. Then finally it's in SECU right now. But Bill C-71, was, as most people know, was the complete ban on the movement of handguns in Canada. And that includes you can't air, you can't give away, you can't sell, you can't do anything with your handguns. Basically, it's yours till you pass away. Then it goes back to the government for destruction. But with that bill, there's all kinds of other stuff going on. As the Liberals have been pushing, the big thing, I guess, we'll just cut to the chase. At the 11th hour, they decided to add a couple amendments to the bill. The first was G4, which is what they call their Evergreen Amendment, which describes so-called assault weapon basically by how it looks. Nothing short of ridiculous. There's a definition for assault rifles, military assault rifles, and the ones that Trudeau's Liberals have listed are not military assault rifles, and they're not even close to the same. But anyway, that was the first part. That was the G4 part of the amendment, and then like I say, this all happened in the 11th hour. The G46 amendment, and this was a piece of work. Number one, it added 400 types of basically hunting rifles and shotguns. But with that, that number was the actual the base copies of these rifles. There was several hundred variants that were attached. The word that the Liberals just love when it comes to firearms is variant. Mm-hmm. Basically, if it has a muzzle and a stock, it's a variant of something. So
it's a variant of an assault rifle. Everything is a variant of an AR to these people.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, with that, they added these 400 shotgun hunting shotguns and rifles and firearms like with a lot of people that are familiar with is a Ruger number 1. A single shot hunting rifle that you have to open the breech, put one cartridge at a time, close the breech and fire. That was on the list. They added a bunch of shotguns that were Benelli was a real good example because it was a gas operated semi-automatic shotgun. They added a bunch of other shotguns that were gas operated and semi-automatic. It was just ludicrous. The whole thing was ludicrous, but then it got better. They decided to attach the original Order in Council to G46. Now, I believe the reason they did that, because when they first did the Order in Council, they were always talking about this buyout or buyback or compensation for your firearms. But I think they really tried to deceive us by attaching this to G46, because when they did attach the original Order of Council, there was no mention of any sort of buyback or compensation. So it was a devious move on their part. Luckily, they were getting a lot of pressure from lobby groups like ours, Indigenous people, hunters. A lot of pressure was coming in from hunters, and even some of the Liberals in the Liberal ridings were getting immense pressure from gun owners in their ridings. So basically, at the end of the day, they withdrew those two amendments, but. That just a false olive branch, because I'm sure those amendments will be back in the next little while. I was talking to our lobbyists today, and all SECU meetings, like I mentioned earlier, SECU meetings are canceled for this week. I think there's a lot of reasons, and I think the biggest one right now is that they don't know where to go. They've been interviewing a ton of witnesses. Our people have been providing a lot of witnesses, and they're basically unchallenged. Callan Langman, great example. Peer-reviewed report that's carved in stone. You can't, Dr. Callan Langman, you can't challenge that. The other one that we jumped on at the NFA was Linda Keiko. She gave evidence, and Pam Damoff challenged her on a bunch of points. And she had all the answers, and basically without exaggerating, had Pam Damoff stuttering because she didn't know how to respond to her. She mentioned Pam Damoff, well, there's only 16 Olympic. It's all about this. I should probably clarify that first. It's all about this clause in the amendment where they would still provide firearms or allow Olympic shooters to obtain firearms. But with that, their argument with that was, well, she asked Linda, how many female Olympic shooters are there in Canada? Well, Linda says, well, I'm the only one. She says, well, she thought, well, I got you there. And then, she said, well, my research shows that this is Pam Damoff speaking. I'm quoting Pam Damoff. My research shows that there's 16 Olympic shooters in Canada right now. Then it goes back to Linda, and Linda makes a statement. Well, yeah, there's 16 people, but how do you get there? How do you get these firearms to become a Olympic shooter? How do you find people to train with to get up to that elite level of shooting? There's hundreds, if not thousands, of people involved in just the Olympic side of things, and it's just not Olympic shooting. There's IPSC, IDPA. There's a bunch of other world sanctioned events that use handguns. So at the end of the day, Pam Damoff didn't really have any sort of rebuttal to that. And, it's small stuff like that, Sheila, that with these meetings that, they bring this stuff to the forefront, and then they ask these questions. Then they get beat up on it. Then they go away for a week and come back with a bunch of new stuff. I'm just sitting here like I have been for the last few months, waiting for the next batch to come out.
Oh, hey, what you just saw there is a clip from my weekly full-length show, The Gun Show. It airs on Wednesday, but this is the internet. You can watch it whenever you feel like. You just have to become a subscriber to our paywalled premium content. Just go to rebelnewsplus.com to become a member today.